it doesn't matter. You guys are here to see the real important people. Of course, give it up for Megan Shipman and the voice of Anya Forger. And Natalie Van Sistine, the voice of Yor Forger. We've got a Anya mask. I see many of you are wearing them. That's great. You're going to want to hold those until the end, okay? Just hold on to those. We're going to do something as a group. So we've got a pretty fun panel in store today. Unfortunately, Chris George was not able to join us, but we do have our two lovely panelists here. We're going to do a little Q&A, and then we're going to switch things up a little bit for the second half of the panel. We've got a game in store. I'm sure you've been seeing that writing, so that will come into play. But first, let's take a look at the trailer. If you're new to Spy Family, you have no idea what it's about. Here you go.
Pronounce it out. Describe your parenting philosophy.
Let's just start with
Dreams of marriage and a normal, happy life. I threw those away the day I became a spy. I'm supposed to have a kid in 7 days?
May I have the honor of taking your life this evening? Will you marry me?
Oh.
Oh, that is the working poison that's strong enough to kill an elephant in there.
Sure, if there's one on sale. Great formation B. Turn around and you're dead.
Guess I don't know my own strength.
No, we are not!
you guys sound wonderful.
You sound so cool. Well, you sound cool. I sound adorable.
You do sound adorable. So of course, Spy Family is streaming subbed and dubbed on CrunchyRoll. If you have not watched it, if you are not up to date, go get on it. Come on now. Let's dive into a little Q&A. Sound good? All right. First up, right off the bat, can you tell us a little bit about what you had to do to prepare for recording? I know everyone's process is a little bit different. Megan, if we can start with you.
Yeah, Anya's like the cutest little 6-year-old. Is she 6? I don't know. I don't know if I believe that, but
That's going to be a trivia question later.
I'm helping them. But for me, it was just like, well, I just have to be really cute. And I remember when I auditioned, I watched the trailer, and she was clearly the comedic one, very clearly.
Yeah.
And she had very big emotions. And so my only goal was to make her really cute, and also to make her emotions very, just extreme, because she's six. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any, so I want to expand on that. Do you have a technique that you use for making, I guess, like the kid voice and the kid sound?
Well, it's funny. We were just saying this the other day. I was explaining, someone asked, and there's another actress, her name's Danny Chambers. She's in lots of things. I'm not gonna lie, I love her little kid voice. She's voiced a lot of little kids, and she's so cute. And so, and she does it, it's so hard. Like, if you try to do a very natural kid voice, it's very hard. And so I really admired her ability to do that. And so a lot of that was me going, God, if I ever get a chance to do another little kid, I want to try to make it as good as Danny, because she's so good. And so I hope I did that. But yeah, so it's just like really tapping into the, like, you don't want to make her too much of a baby, because she can have a conversation. She's old enough to have a conversation, but she doesn't want to sound too old. But yeah, so that's kind of just like the headspace, and then it's kind of easy to find the voice because she's just sounds like a little gremlin. So yeah, that's the easy part. The hard part is like the acting like an actual child. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. What about you, Natalie?
For me, like, the biggest thing was when I first got the audition and everything, I had a good sense of like, okay, assassin mode is going to probably sound something like this, and I was able to lock in on that pretty quickly. But when I was reading the rest of her lines, I wasn't really familiar with the content yet, and I was like, wow, there's a whole lot more going on here. This character is clearly a lot more complicated, and I really was fascinated by it. So fortunately, we had a copy of the manga in the house, so I like dropped everything I was doing that day, and I just went and read volume 1. And for me, that was really so helpful to suddenly like identify this whole other part of her, because I was originally going to play her a lot more subdued. I thought she was a lot more collected, and then I was like, oh no, she's a nervous wreck. I actually really love that about her. I don't normally get to play that character type, and so for me, it was really exciting to be able to see a character that, you know, is like, I don't know, like grocery shopping appropriately. Do people think I'm weird? Like, I really, that really just kind of helped inform, and that kind of helps push the voice up into that more hysterical, but got it together kind of voice, and definitely went from there.
And I feel like that's two very different headspaces. So you have like, you know, nervous wreck and then deadly assassin.
And I feel like for me, like it's honestly kind of like being an actor too, where you're a nervous wreck a lot when you're an actor, because like, oh god, am I going to work ever again? But then you go into the booth and you have to pretend to be a warrior, an assassin or something, and you got to put your game face on. You sound like you know what you're doing, and no one knows you don't. So,
How did I get here? Why are they paying me? Why is there a million people in this room? Like, you know?
And so I know we kind of touched on this a little bit, but I want to talk specifically about like the headspace and the mindset for playing a cute young character. Like, do you know a lot of kids in your life, and you kind of get to observe them or like sort of see mannerisms, and how do you get into that mode of like play?
I think over the years, and again, it's like I kind of have admired people that I've also watched, and their ability to really have that and it's so hard to like describe, because there's a certain like affectation to a child's voice where it's very simple, it's very just playful, and they don't have any. Children will say anything. I used to teach, and I had children like ask. They have no filter, you know. Children will ask awkward questions. Like, don't ask that. Like,
Do you think your teaching experience kind of helped a little bit?
yeah, because she really is just like, I knew so many children that just had. I was like, why are you asking me this question? I'm not your parent. You need to go ask your mother for help. I cannot help you. But I also, and I taught, and then I worked at a daycare too, so it's like, children just, but they're so smart too. Like, I mean, I remember working in a room of toddlers, and they would put the same like music CD on every morning, and those kids knew every word, and like they could barely form sentences, but they knew every word to that like jam CD, their little toddler jam CD, and I was like, they're so fascinating. How do you not know sentences, but you can sing a whole CD? Like, I don't understand. But yeah, it's insane. So yeah, it's this very like, children are intelligent, but you know, they're also kind of stupid. Because they don't know everything. They think they know everything.
Little brains are sponges.
Yeah, exactly. And then Anya's like totally, and then you added over there, she's a telepath. So she just kind of knows things, and she just thinks it's super fun. You're like, no, these are bombs, child. These are literal deadly weapons. Like, you can't touch that. Like, don't. But she's like, no, it's so fun. And it's like, oh, okay, whatever, Anya, what do you say?
So a lot of room to play with that.
Yeah, it's fun to kind of just let go and actually be a child and be like, yeah, I'm going to play pretend with these stuffed animals, and it's so cute. Yeah.
And Natalie, I know we talked about how you've kind of gone into finding those two voices, but how do you strike a balance between those two with the character?
So again, I think like kind of again playing that mode where it's almost like muscle memory. I think when she goes into assassin mode, where she's trained enough, she's had enough experience, is that when she ever like, and I think you see that like when she has to jump in to save Anya, like as soon as she sees there's trouble, it's like there's a switch that flips in your brain, and it's kind of like that as an actor too, where you know there's a certain point where you get in front of the screen, and with dubbing you also hear 3 beeps before you come in. That kind of helps you with the timing and everything. So it's like as soon as you hear those beeps, it's like your brain just shuts down. You just go into the zone, And so I kind of feel like it's the same thing for Yor as well, where it's like as soon as like any kind of danger kicks in, as soon as her like heart rate spikes above a certain level, or you know her adrenaline kicks in, she just shuts down, and afterwards she worries about, oh wait, was that, did I go too far? So that's kind of definitely where how I feel like she makes those turns. And then also too, it always helps that we always reference the Japanese audio too before we come in to record. So it really does help watching the kind of goalposts that they've set for us, and then we can try to make sure we're matching that energy, and also how they're handling those as well too. So they kind of leave that for us, and then we come after and try to make sure it makes sense to our ears, but also we are still following what they've left behind for us.
Absolutely. And I know physicality can sometimes inform a voice or a vocal performance. Do you feel like your physicality changes between the two sides, or is it kind of consistent?
Oh yeah, like when I'm doing a character like Yor, like sometimes I'll wring my hands a little bit, like just something just to fidget and kind of feel that nervous energy. And then usually like when I'm doing warrior or like assassin mode, or for any character, not just Yor, it's really important, like for me, that I've grounded my feet. I have a really firm stance. Sometimes like if I'm actually doing actions, I'll swing a little bit, or just Dave Wald actually has a great technique where, in order to get the grit, and obviously you can't be swinging around too much, you'll punch the microphone, but to get that like intensity, if you like grind your fist into your palm, it kind of adds that intensity and that strain into your voice without you having to move a whole lot. So just little things like that can really go a long way.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. That's so neat. I love learning about stuff like that. That's so neat.
Yeah.
Did you have I guess it's not too spoilery. Like we've all seen. We're all pretty much up to date, right? Okay, cool. All right, cool. Do you have a favorite scene to record, or one that you just particularly enjoyed, or like a type of scene even that you enjoy recording?
I really liked doing, again, and this has nothing to do with the story. This is just fluff. But the very last episode where Anya is playing pretend with her toys and like making them do the voices, that was fun. I got to record the scene 3 times. I was Anya, I was both the toys. It was great.
Do you get credited?
Oh yeah. Mr. Penguin. Me. And then also my other favorite episode was like 4 or 5. The Castle. 5. Yeah. 5. I was like, yeah, the castle. But yeah, it was my favorite because Anya's so sarcastic the whole time. She's just like, oh no, save me. Oh no. And then of course it was so cute seeing Twilight. He's just like, I'm so embarrassed. And of course it's like everyone from his work is there, and he's just like, oh my god. And they're all like, wow, he's so cool, but he's like, this is the worst ever. And there's me, it's amazing. So
yeah, I would say like I unabashedly, anytime drunk Yor is in the picture. Like getting to do that is so fun. I was so excited for the dinner with Yuri, like when he comes over.
Which can I just say, I said this at a different con last weekend. I also assistant direct sometimes, and Chris George was out of town, so that fun scene, that was all us. That was all us, and I will take even if he was here, I would still take the credit, and he'd be like, Gary was like, no, and I'd be like, yes, it was me, it was not you. But no, it was I mean, he approved it, but I did it for him because I'm a nice person. But yeah, it was we did that together, and it was super. So Anya wasn't there, but I was there, and it was a lot of fun.
That's awesome. So obviously, family is a huge part of the series, as well as the importance of family. Would you tell us about like a very precious family memory that you have, or something that you hold dear?
I have none. I'm just kidding. Just cold and hot. No. I have really good memories of like when I was younger. Like my dad's side of the family is really big, and so we would go and hang out over there. Like any holiday was always over there, and there was just so many people, and like all my cousins and all that stuff. So I I have lots of nice memories of just going and, and as I laugh every time I see these like memes now where people are like me when I was, 6 trying to put on a fashion show, and I was like, yeah, that was me. That was like me and my cousin. We were like, let's have a fashion show. And we'd go and we'd dig out all the dresses and at my grandma's house, and we'd and of course we thought we were so cool, and we would make everyone sit in the living room and watch us strut our stuff. Now I'm like, wow, nobody wanted to watch that. They were probably like, can we go eat pie now? But no, those are good memories. So yeah.
One that comes to mind is something similar because my dad's side of the family, we have we're fairly close, but the kind of whole my cousins and I we used to spend a lot of time together, and we'd go up. My grandpa was he laid carpet. He had his own business, and he could never really go on vacation very long, so they bought this tiny little cabin, had no plumbing or anything up in Green Bay because they were from northern Wisconsin. And so we'd always go out there to during the summers and spend time there. And I remember one summer, all of us cousins, we got the brilliant idea we were going to hold an Olympic Games. And we spent a lot of time. We cut out a bunch of medals. We colored them. We made a whole itinerary, and then we started doing the different games, and we very quickly realized we were getting very tired because we were wearing ourselves out, and no one wanted to come watch us at first. We were cajoling different people, come watch us, and they're like, okay, that's nice, it's so hot out, what are you doing?
Come watch the 100-meter dash, Mom.
We had so much fun, and of course the adults would continue to humor us. They'd be like, okay, that's nice. You've been doing this for a really long time and it's so hot. Can you stop, please?
Don't they know it's the Olympics? It doesn't happen in a day.
I know, but we had to do all of the events ourselves, too.
Well, you cut out all the medals.
We sure did.
That's hard work.
We had so many.
Well, you all had to have gold, I'm sure.
I do have a few more questions before we wrap up, if you guys don't mind. I kind of want to know, obviously I know you have a very special connection with your characters, but just which character from the show in general do you feel like you relate to?
Oh gosh, relate to? Oh no, I probably
do you relate to an assassin? Do you relate to a
Are you a spot? Honestly, I relate to Yor a lot. I have so much anxiety. I mean, I know I'm on a stage in front of a bunch of people, and I'm like, yeah, this is great. But in everyday life, it's there's a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of, with this job especially, there can be a lot of imposter syndrome. We show up and people are filling up a room, and we're like, Natalie, do you see this? We just look at each other and we're like, oh my God. But yeah, so there's a lot of just is this real? Am I supposed to be here? Is this okay? Am I supposed to be in this cool room with people? So yeah, there's a lot of that. So Yor is a good one for me just because I personally have so much anxiety. It's really fun. But yeah, no, and she's so, I don't know, it's just nice when you see characters like that too, that, you're like, oh cool, they also have anxiety, but they go to work, and, she goes to work.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. So,
yeah, I knew where you were.
Yeah.
What about you?
If for anyone not Yor, what's coming to mind is I definitely relate to Twilight, just his exhaustion, which is how tired that poor man is. And just where he's so good at what he does, he has to do everything. And I don't want to presume to say that I'm amazing and can do anything, but I do wear a lot of hats, and I have done a lot of different things. I've also
You do a lot.
I worked as a ADR writer, an engineer. I've just all kinds of different things kind of as the need arises, and I wanted to learn how to do different things, but the other side to that is then everyone's like, oh, can you help with this? Can you do this? Or we need someone who can cover this. And especially when you're in this industry too, I have to continuously remind myself that this is my job, and I not only get paid for this, but I get paid to do something I really enjoy. So it's really hard to say no, because you're like, these are so many cool opportunities. I want to do all this. I want to be involved in all these things, and learning how to say no. And Lloyd's trying. He's sure trying. So I think I can really relate to that aspect of it, where you're like, I need some downtime.
Yeah. No, I feel that. Both very good ways to relate to those characters. I think we can all probably feel that a little bit. I really want to know what it was like when you found out that you got the roles.
So what's weird about this is usually we don't really get a phone call or anything. They just are like, you audition for something, and then maybe we'll get a text or an email like a couple weeks later going, hey, this person wants to book you for like 9 hours. And then you're like, well, gee, I sure did something good, because why else would I be going in for 9 hours to record? Usually you're like, okay, I got something chunky. But this time around it was like a phone call. I think they called all of us. I thought it was just me. But when you said that you got a phone call too, I was like, oh, good, okay, I'm not in trouble. Because again, we wear so many hats, both of us. And, I was in the middle of directing a show at the time. And so I'm just busy. And they called me. And that's why I thought they were calling me, because they were like, oh, she's busy. We better make sure she can do this before we commit. And then she's like, sorry, I'm gone half the time, So I was like, oh, cool. So they called us and they were like, hey, it was Zach, one of the producers. He was like, hey, this is Zach. And I was like, yes, Zach. I saw her in the caller ID. Hello. How are you? And he was like, hey, so we want to cast you in SpyXFamily as Anya. And I'm not gonna lie, I did a little go on, Zach. Go on. Yes, I would love to. He was like, so do you have time? Are you good? And I was like, yes, I'm definitely good. So yeah, it's like one of those calls you're like, it's kind of a dumb question, Zach, but it's fine. Yes, I do. So yeah, that was kind of the different thing, was just we got a phone call.
It's neat though.
Yeah, and it was weird. And now when we come to these cons, I'm like, oh, this is why they gave us a phone call, because then they were like, all right, time to parade you around on the town square. I'm like, I'm the harvest queen of the parade, So that's what it feels like.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it was kind of the same thing where you're not expecting to get the phone call, and I made the absolutely terrible mistake of getting attached during the audition process. And you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to forget about it and go about your way. And that whole weekend, I was sitting there going, oh, but what if? That would be so fun. I would love to work on this show, and I really enjoyed reading the manga. I was like, I'm not gonna do this, stop doing that. And then I want to say it was like a Tuesday morning or something like that, and I'd been up working late, so I slept late. And I woke up, and there was a text from Zach, and I was like,
did it just say, call me?
Yeah, it literally just said, hey, this is Zach. Can you call me back when you get the nearest possible? I was threw the phone on the floor. I was trying to dial, and he didn't pick up right away too. So
you give me so much anxiety.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Don't ever do that.
So I didn't know if I had the roll or if I had a call back or something. So my Apple Watch, you could see my heart rate just go through the roof.
Your Apple Watch was like, please breathe.
She's dying.
And it took him an hour to call me back. So I went and walked my dogs as I was vibrating. Because I was so nervous. And I finally got home and I got the call, and they're like, hey, so we're wanting, Chris wants to cast you. We just want to make sure you're available. And I'm holding the phone up like this because I'm jumping. I'm literally jumping, going, yes. I sure hope he can't hear this because I am losing my mind. So it was a really big day.
Oh, I'm so happy for both of you. That's awesome.
I think you didn't tell me you just sent you a text.
Oh yeah, he sure did.
Oh, I hate those texts. You're like, oh no, what did I do? Am I fired for life? Did I mess up?
Always have to say, call me, but it's a good thing.
Yes, please tell me everything's okay.
Yeah.
Please. I would have been so don't do that to me. Please.
Okay, so the other thing I wanted to ask is, have you worked on your Anya faces, and would you both do us the honor of giving us a good Anya face impression?
Yeah, I did this earlier in case you all missed it while I was.
Oh, were you doing doodles?
I was making quotes. I was writing quotes on the board, and then while y'all were figuring out the laptop, and I was just like, I'm just gonna write and entertain the people that are just staring at us. And so people were like, ha ha ha. I was like, do it now, do it with me. Okay, so here's my.
Very good. Very good, very good. A good, love a good face.
Oh man, I don't think I can remotely, but I just like
You have to.
That's pretty good, actually. Pretty good, yes.
Yes.
Just like her. Is there, so just to wrap things up, now I wanted to let you all know the Anya faces that you all have. We want to do, in just a minute, we want to do a group photo with all of it, like a crowd of Anyas. Okay. So we all have, perfect.
Yeah, we were laughing about that before we started. I was like, God, look at like that whole section back there. They were all on top of
Chris.
it.
It's Chris.
So I was like, oh my God, look at them.
So before we wrap up, or as we're putting on our Anya faces as a collective group,
As a hive mind.
is there just anything like final parting words that you want to share with everyone here today?
I guess for us, like for me, we've said it a couple times, and we don't get to say it enough, but like we're really, really grateful to be able to like be in this position, because you never really know when a show is going to be like just kind of explode. And you know, we've gotten to do so many like cool things with like the CrunchyRoll team, and like getting to come out and meet you guys, and seeing all of you guys when you come up and talk to us and you just say like, oh my gosh, this was so great, or this is my first show I've ever watched, or I love hearing you, and it really means a lot. And so yeah, we're like super grateful. So.
Natalie, do you have any closing messages or thoughts you want to share?
honestly, like, it's just, again, I feel like I've been in a collective hallucination with you all since, March when I got that call, and it's been just the best time. Like, I remember going to my first convention back in 2010. And just remembering like how cool it was to attend and just see that. I didn't even have it on my radar that I could ever do this, and it's just really magical to feel like I'm part of that circle and here participating in that environment. And not saying that everyone else is out there wants to necessarily do this, but I hope it's as special to you as it was to me back then. And I just hope you're having a really great time, and it's so wonderful to be here as a part of that. Thank you.
The utter, like, the duality of you saying these sweet, heartfelt words with that on your head. But I love you. Yes, that's just my brain. Don't mind me.
All right, so we're going to do our group picture. I'm going to invite one of our team members to come up and take a photo. And I think probably the easiest way, Holly, is if we just stay sitting so you can get the massive crowd. It's like I wish you could see yourselves. I wish you could see her. Like from here, it's great.
It's amazing.
So we're going to turn angle this way.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess like on the count of 3, everyone just say peanuts. Oh my god, I know. I'm the one holding up. I don't have my act together, okay? I should have sized this properly.
Oh my gosh. To get you to a fitting.
Yeah. All right, there we go. All right. 1, 2, 3. Do we get it? Do a few more? She's telling me I really don't have my act together. Okay, I'm just gonna yell at you guys, all right? 1, 2, 3.